Is this the best budget Android phone on the market? Let's have a look. Dave Taylor here, and I'm looking at this. This is the Google Pixel 3a Android smartphone, and it's really pretty darn nice. Keep in mind its price, and it's crazy nice. Now, let's talk about it. So first off, the specs. Android 9.0 Android Pie, the very latest version of Android, powered by not the world's fastest chip, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 670 64-bit octa-core, but it's not the state of the art, but that's a lot of how they've got the price to come down. Now, has 4 gig of RAM and it has 64 gig of storage, and that's it. It is completely unexpandable storage. There are not multiple configurations available. You can't put in a micro SD card anywhere. It is what it is, 64 gig. Probably not a huge issue because nowadays so much of what we get is off the cloud or the internet anyway. I mean, I don't save gigabyte of music, I just listen to Spotify. So hopefully 64 gig will be enough. Now, let's talk about the camera. People love the cameras on these things, and this in particular has a beautiful camera on it. So, the rear-facing camera is a 12.2 megapixel f1.8 camera. So, let's have some examples. First off, some video, and as you can see, it's pretty clean and crisp. There's nothing to complain about with this video. Now, the photos are a little bit more of a different story, and it's interesting. So here's a couple of photos that I think really show off just how well it takes pictures. But then here's another photo where I zoomed in on the camera, or zoomed in on the camera app on the phone, if you want to be more precise, and you can see it didn't get it in focus. So I thought that was interesting when I reviewed my pictures. Overall, that was the only picture out of maybe a couple of hundred I took that wasn't in focus. So there is that. Now, the front-facing camera is an 8 megapixel selfie camera, and actually the camera technology is essentially the same as on the Pixel 3, which is its double the price senior, big brother. For what this is and for the price point, it's really extraordinary camera technology. So that's really great. Now, some of the other things to talk about is that it does not have Gorilla Glass like you see on most modern smartphones. They use something called Dragon Trail glass. Now, in the field, we'll have to see how that plays out over time, but hopefully I think it's not going to be a big deal, but that's worth knowing. And notice, let me get this to a nice bright screen. So there's no notch, right? But there's no notch because it doesn't actually go all the way to the very top and bottom. So, this is kind of an older school design, but not horribly so. I don't feel like this is something where you're like, oh, there's so much extra screen here. Why doesn't the display actually take all that up? So, sidestep the whole notch issue, but then therefore they're not using an edge-to-edge screen. But it still does things like squeeze to get Google Assistant, right? So that's pretty cool. So all of those features that you have heard about on the Pixel 3, or you might have with your Pixel 3, are all on this too. Now you'll notice I pulled it out of this. So Google also sent me the Google Pixel 3a case. So this is a pretty neat case. It's actually a fabric covered carbon case. So it's really tough, and it's almost exactly the right dimensions for the phone. The only thing I will note, as you can see in this close-up, is if you are obsessive about it, that the fingerprint scanner on the back is not exactly centered in the circle. But again, honestly, I don't think anyone's going to care. Just thought I'd point that out. The case, by the way, is $40, so that's pretty typical for vendor cases as opposed to third parties. I imagine by the time you check out this video, there'll be hundreds of companies on Amazon and eBay selling Google Pixel 3a cases for $9. So if you want less expensive cases, then there will be options with that too. Now, it's also worth noting that there are two versions of this phone. This is the 3A. This is the smaller screen. So this has a 5.6-inch OLED screen running at 2220 by 1080. The bigger brother is the 3A XL, which goes up to a 6-inch screen. That's 0.4 of an inch difference on the diagonal. It's not very much. That's certainly like maybe that much more. pretty minimal change. It adds 80 bucks to the price, and interestingly, it's 6.0 inch OLED, but that one's running at 2160 by 1080, so slightly lower resolution. I'm sure you actually won't be able to tell the difference. There is a big difference in the battery life, however. So this, the 3A, has a nice 3000 milliamp hour battery that's going to power you for all day and into the evening. And the 3A XL has a 3700 milliamp hour battery. Both of those are decent jumps up from what the Pixel 3 has. So we have a lower speed CPU, so it's going to use less power, and we have a bigger battery, so that's kind of a nice direction to go in. Now, one of the things people have been saying about the 3A is that it's slow. So I thought it'd be really interesting for us to actually try doing a recording. So let me show you on the screen. Let me just see if I can get my screen recording to work. Demos, right? It's always tricky to get the demo to work. Okay, now, we're going to do a screen recording, so you'll be able to see what I'm doing on the screen here on the side, and I just want to show what it's like to launch an app and stuff. So let's start by bringing up all my apps, and I want to find an app that I haven't launched before. Let's try Google Pay. And so you can see here how fast apps are loading, and it's not bad. I mean, it's nothing to write home about. I have Spotify, but I've preloaded that because I haven't logged in, but I have launched it before, so that's not necessarily representative. So let's go to Chrome, and let's go to, I don't know, let's go to Amazon.com. And so, you know, people have been saying that this is a slow device. I don't see it. I think the performance is entirely acceptable here. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that recording. And I'm really impressed with this Pixel 3A. Now, there are a couple of things that I kind of wish they would have added, and perhaps the biggest of those is wireless Qi charging. Now, the Pixel 3 definitely has wireless charging and fast wireless charging, very cool. But for some reason, the 3A, they opted not to add that circuitry. I think it only would have added a couple of bucks, but you know, that's their choice. For most people, probably you don't really care. Now, that's one of those things where wouldn't it be cool to have wireless charging? But in reality, it's not really massively huge amount of work to plug in a USB-C charging cable, which of course comes with the phone anyway. So I don't know that that's a game, stop or a hard stop, red flag, whatever you want to call it. I don't know that that's that big a deal, but it's also the case that there's no IP rating at this at all, and that's a bit of a drag. I really wish they would have actually had it be at least water resistant, but this is like an old school smartphone, so if you're even in a highly humid environment, who knows what's going to happen? That's a little scary. Not $1,000 investment, but however much it costs, it's still a lot of money for you to be using your phone, and then suddenly it starts raining and you don't realize and your phone gets wet. Now, are you hosed? I don't know. We'll have to see how that works in the field as people use it. But I wish Google would have given it even just some water resistance. They chose not to. But really, those are my only complaints. Now, there's a couple more things I want to show you. Number one, in the box, I already have an unboxing. You can go check out if you want. But in the box, just super quickly, is a USB-C, USB-C charging cable and a USB-C to USB 3 adapter for those of you that have old school devices, because we all do, and a 18-watt fast charger. So this has USB-C on the back, so obviously you plug in the cable, you plug it into your phone, charges fast, and it charge lasts a long time. Now, thing is, that's it. So what's missing? No headphones, no earbuds, no nothing, right? Now, honestly, you probably already have a pair of earbuds, or you can go pick a pair up for 10 or 20 bucks, and that's okay. And when you do, you will be so excited that it has a 3.5 millimeter audio jack. Even the Pixel 3 doesn't have this. So good job, Google. Thank you for actually paying attention to customers and saying, what do people really want on their phone? So I'm really hoping Apple might make that choice too, because I don't really want to be perpetually trapped in the world of Bluetooth. I know they have their little adapter dongle, but seriously, Really? Have you tried to use that thing? Yikes. So Google, point for them, right? So 3.5 millimeter jack. On the right-hand side is volume up and down and a nice, cheery, bright little button. And left side basically gives you the micro SIM slot, so you can actually make this a phone and have it use. And then on the bottom, you have USB-C for charging and then two little cutouts for speakers. And, you know, this is not a top-of-the-line phone, but whatever. I mean, it's really, really nice. There's a lot to like here. Has fingerprint scanner on the back. The camera has a little tiny flash there. That's basically it. As you can see, very nice case. And it's funny because the phone has an orange button, but the case has this sort of fluorescent yellow button. I'm not sure where they're picking up these colors from, but it works, whatever. So, you know, get it all back to the beginning, and here we go. This is a heck of a phone. Now, before I tell you the price and we talk about that, and it is a great price for this phone, I just want to ask if you can subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate when you do. And if you have a Pixel 2 or a Pixel 3 or you're looking at other budget Android options, let me know in the comments and we can have a discussion about features and functionality. Now, this is the Google Pixel 3a, the smaller screen of the two, and it is a remarkably budget priced $400. That is a pretty good deal. The case, like I said, adds another 40 bucks. If you want it, you probably want it because you want to protect your phone. And then if you wanted the larger screen, which is the 3A XL, that only bumps you up to 480 bucks. That is, again, a really good price. You can check all this out at the Google Store, and it's going to be available through a wide variety of different phone carriers too. And you'll have many options to pick one of these up. And if you're looking for a low price Android phone that has good features and a pretty darn decent camera, this well might be an excellent choice for you. So I encourage you to check it out. And that's it. So I'll catch you in my next video.